over 40 years, the Black Retail Action Group, also known as BRAG, has been bringing education and equality to the world of fashion.
And every year, luminaries like Tommy Hilfiger and Sean Diddy Combs are honored at their gala. Here with more on this year's event is BRAG President Gail Monroe Perry and one of this year's honorees, Alain Lafontant.
Hey, welcome. Thank
you. My French.
Watch out now.
My 2 years of French in high school came in handy, finally.
It's usually a mouthful.
I liked it. All right, well, Gail, let's talk about this year's event. It's more than just a gala. You also produce annual programs for students throughout the year. Tell us more.
Well, this is our #1 fundraiser, and the real focus are the scholarships that we give the students that evening. So this year we're really excited because last year we had 30 students, and this year we have 64 students that we will be giving scholarships. More than double.
My goodness.
And it's between high school and college. And then we select influential people who really coincide with our mission in terms of giving them an award that evening as well.
Very nice.
And this year we are honoring Terry Lundgren, who is the chairman, president, and CEO of Macy's, Iman, and of course, Mr. Alain Lafontant.
Well, now, Alain, you were actually an intern when you were at Penn State for the program. How did that experience change your life?
I think the experience definitely built upon the foundation that my parents gave me. It definitely gave me an opportunity to learn how to be an effective leader. And more importantly, it gave me exposure to an opportunity that I didn't know existed before I was a BRAG intern.
How'd you find out about it?
I was actually looking for a summer internship at Penn State, and I saw that there was an opportunity to work for Saks for the summer. I thought it would be an interesting avenue to spend the summer working at Saks.
Yes.
Unfortunately, the Saks internship wasn't available, but there was an internship available at Bloomingdale's. I took that internship, and from there, my career in retail and wholesale started that summer.
And now you're working where?
I work for Sean Combs Enterprises at Sean John.
Wow.
And a VP at that.
Yes, yes.
Very impressive.
What's your official title?
VP of Business Development.
Ooh, Mr. Moneyback. Well, Gail, over the years, you've awarded more than $800,000 in scholarships, is that
Yes,
true?
we have.
And how many
Yes.
students have come through the program as well?
There's been about 400 students that have come through the program over the years, and as I said, each year normally it was in increments of 25 to 30, and this year we've doubled it, so we hope we will keep that momentum going forward.
Well, how much did you raise last year, and how much do you hope to raise this year? What's the goal?
Well,
Shannon's more than willing to write a blank check.
Yes.
Whatever you need.
He just
whatever
wants to
we
know the
need.
number.
We've actually doubled our goal from last year. So we are hoping that we will reach it. Normally we're right around that $400,000 to $500,000 mark, and we're hoping to reach the $1 million mark this year.
Wow, I'm sure you'll reach it. I hope so.
You hear that, Shannon?
Yeah. Check's coming to you.
And it won't bounce. We
There you go. Now, you've already mentioned some of the greats that you have honored in the past and this year. Alain, how does it feel to be honored in the class of these people?
Oh, it's extremely humbling.
Magic
first and
Johnson,
foremost.
Tracy
Yes.
Reese, Iman.
For me, it's been inspiring. It's motivating. I think I'm at the beginning of my journey and telling my own story. But some of the past honorees that BRAG has mentioned have been visionaries and been role models for me. So it definitely makes me know that I'm on the right path, and I need to continue on the path that I'm on.
How do you go about choosing the honorees, Gail?
Well, it depends. For instance, just going back to Alain, we are doing a special segment this year where we've actually had over 1,100 interns in our program. We have a significant program every summer. It's a 10-week program where we recruit for students across the country. We bring them in, we connect them with our sponsors like a Macy's, a Bloomingdale's, a Saks. They pay their salaries during the summer. We teach them.
The internships are paid?
They are paid.
Are you kidding me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Can I get an intern?
Really?
Yes.
And they get to live in New York City?
They live in New York City, and then the BRAG organization, we give them from retail math classes to dining etiquette.
Wow.
They're responsible for working on a case study presentation, which they work on all summer long, and then they present it to the board and to the sponsors.
You were kidding.
Yes.
It sounds like an
Yes.
amazing program, but why do you think the scholarship and the program, the training, everything they go through is so important in the retail industry?
Well, for one thing, we are the only program of its kind, actually the only organization that really focuses on African Americans and people of color, whether they are business professionals, entrepreneurs, or students, who are interested in pursuing fashion, retail, and related industries. And that's our focus, to give the tools, the training, the coaching to these individuals so that they can succeed and take on leadership roles in the industry.
How do you go about choosing which students will be a part of the program? Is there an application process, an interview process? How does it work?
Yes, there is an application process, there's an interview process, there's an essay that they must write. And in fact, this winter, we will be having what we call our winter break reception, where we invite students to come in to apply for our internship. And they are interviewed by 2 or 3 people, and it's through a voting consensus of who has the qualifications. They must have a 3.0 Q.
Okay.
And they need to have the passion and the enthusiasm and the desire to be in the field.
So if you have a 2 or a 2.5, don't even bother.
Not that desperate. They're paying folks. You need to come in correct.
Our CUME is 3, but there are internship programs throughout the industry, and some of theirs are even higher. So we try not to go beyond that 3.0 CUME.
What roadblocks do kids of color often face when trying to enter the fashion and retail business?
Well, it's probably the same that anyone that enters the business at this point. I think that the industry understands the demographics and what it's going to be in the future.
Right.
However, you get to a point where it's easier to get them into the programs and into the entry level, but it's very difficult to sometimes maintain and retain them so that you have mid to senior level executives like Alan in there.
Well,
and so that's where we have workshops, seminars, to try to teach them how to get into that zone of leadership, because it is difficult. I was a buyer a few moons ago, and there were quite a few buyers and VPs and merchants or whatever, but if you look at how the demographics have fallen at this point in time and you look at the numbers, they actually have not gotten better in many instances.
Oh, goodness.
So that's all the more reason that programs like BRAG are needed. And I think that some of the sponsors that we have understand that and have reached out in partnership with us.
Well, Alan, what were some of the specific workshops or classes you had to go through that prepared you for some of the roadblocks or hardships you would have had in the industry and making your way up the corporate ladder?
I think, as Gail mentioned, some of the workshops that were most effective for me was definitely the retail math part of it, because I think at the end of the day, it's a fashion industry, but I'm in the business of fashion, so I think that skill set has been able to last me for the past decade. The other nuances is also on how to present yourself in public, and how to take a little bit of charge in a room without it seeming to be too overly aggressive. I think the nuances of the business, especially being a young African American male, as being a professional, those were the nuances that BRAG was able to teach me, and also they gave me a community and a forum where I could ask questions. I could get advice. For the past decade, this has been the same organization. When any move that I wanted to do in my career, I always went back to my mentor saying, what should I do? This is what I'm thinking about, and how best to handle the situation.
So you have the mentors that will follow you throughout your career.
Absolutely.
That's great.
That's invaluable.
Right.
Yes.
Do you also keep up with the network of other students that were a part of your class? Because I tell young people all the time, you don't always network up, you network out as well.
Absolutely. For me, I think I had an amazing summer experience. You can imagine spending the summer in New York City.
And I'm sure you had a good time.
With a
Mr.
group of with a group of like-minded individuals, and actually some of the same classmates that interned with me. A couple of them were in my wedding. I've had these lifelong experiences, and some of them continued on at retail, even those that have moved on to other careers and other professions. Because of that shared experience at that age, it's really been a great network and sounding board for my career.
Well, you had a great career. You're saying you worked with Sean John. Now you've also worked with Jay-Z's Rockaware line and Bloomingdale's. What has been your secret to moving up the corporate ladder so effectively?
I think for me, I really appreciate the fact that whether it be the two Sean Carter or Sean Combs, they're visionaries, they're risk takers. Part of what I've always wanted to do is not only be obviously self-sustainable as a professional, but also change culture. And I feel, from Puff's point of view or Jay's point of view, they've always changed culture. I think fashion has the opportunity to speak to people in a way that no other piece of art can. So for me, that's always been inspiring me, and I'm always looking for new and different ways to, to build my resume as well.
Don't you just love? He's like Puff,
Yeah.
Jay.
My peoples. So then, since you know them so well, dish for us a little bit. Yeah. Who's the tougher boss?
I think it's, as in any corporation, it's different management styles.
Come on, we don't want the corporate spin.
Yes, no.
Come on, give us the
think
real
Puff-
deal.
This is what he learned in
Yeah.
BRAG.
Oh, okay,
How
I
to
got it. I
spin.
see, I see.
Give him a
just too-
difficult question. He knows how to moonwalk out of it.
It's just two different management styles, and I think obviously both of them are ultimately successful. And one thing that is comparable to both of them is that they are fearless. They are willing to, and they're willing to put in the work. I think at the end of the day, you see these two guys that are on the way to being billionaires, and you assume that they've been granted this luck, but no, it's hard work. They're in categories of businesses that they don't have an expertise in, and they're willing to learn, and they're willing to put in the work. So for me, that's ultimately been a great thing for me to look at for the past decade.
Okay, so Puffy's the harder one to work with.
Wait.
So back to the gala.
Yes.
When and where is it? How do we get tickets? And then let's talk about the scholarship. How can kids apply?
Sure.
Okay.
The event is actually next Thursday,
Next
October
Thursday.
the 17th.
Okay.
It will be at the Marriott Marquis.
Times Square.
Yes, Times
Okay.
Square. We start out with cocktails, and the program starts at 7.
Okay.
So you can go on our website, which is bragusa.org, and you can actually purchase tickets online.
How much are tickets?
Tickets start at $1,000.
What?
Go ahead, Lola. She'll be front row. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Well, Shannon's writing the big checks. Don't we get a table?
If they're not able to attend, they can also make a donation for the website and apply
Absolutely.
for scholarships there?
That's right. Also
Okay.
on the website, we have our entire application there for their access.
And one more time, the website is?
bragusa.org.
All right. Thank you both for being here.
Oh, thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
Congratulations
it.
to you, and
Thank
good
you.
luck.
All
Thanks.
right. You're watching Arise Entertainment 360.
Music is important to me.